You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Bachelorette After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Bachelorette After Show.
All right, guys, Bachelorette Nation, what is going on? We all know that Bing is for doing, and what are we doing? We're doing another after show for AFTERBUZZ TV. This is The Bachelorette Season 8, Episode 7. Now, you may notice there might be a change. If you're watching us on AfterBuzzTV.com, there might be a change. Actually, Camden couldn't make it this week, but someone's up on the big chair. So we're going to say, I'm a big kid now.
Big girl chair. So excited.
Yes. All right. All right. Let's do a quick introduction. I'm JC, and I am joined by, I'll let you guys state your name, state your sign, and whatever makes you smile, what numbers to dial. Starting with the lovely lady to my right.
My name is Cathy Kelley, and I don't know what my sign Libra. What am I supposed to say? I don't remember.
You don't have to say.
Okay. My name's Cathy Kelley.
Oh, you got
I'm 23 years old, 23 and a half, and okay,
she likes long walks on the beach.
Yeah.
She's with the news and gossipy stuff, the newsy type stuff. Plus, across the table, we have got...
Hey guys, I'm Krisily Kennedy, and it's like Thanksgiving at the first adult table for me tonight. I'm really excited to be at the big girl table.
And I'm Jenna Couture, your intimacy and relationship expert, and I'm an Aries.
All right. I didn't know you guys were going to answer. That's awesome. Aries, Gemini, Rising. Plus, we got running the ones and twos. We got, I believe it's Mr. Phil Spitek. Is that Phil?
Hello.
You got lucky with Phil.
Phil, you're going to be filled in with some of the most beautiful women that we've ever seen actually tonight on this show.
Ooh.
That makes no sense.
Wait.
Yeah, I was just... You guys are sexy.
Topics, please.
All right, fine.
Let's get this. This is a bumpy start.
Next.
All right. No, quick question. If you guys aren't watching us on AfterBuzzTV.com, make sure to listen to us on iTunes. We give you about 30 different shows every week, from The Choice to Rizzoli and Isles to True Blood to even The Bachelorette. But we don't ask for anything in turn except for you to comment, like, subscribe. Let us know you care, because as we all know, it keeps the lights on. Thank you for backing me up there, Cathy Kelley.
I actually wasn't sure what you were going to say.
I wasn't either.
and the lights make Camden look pretty.
Yeah.
And she's not here, so I wanted to say it for her.
Yes, there we go. A quick shout out to Camden. Camden, here we go.
Cheers.
I miss you.
Miss you, Camden. We'll hopefully you'll be back very soon, hopefully next week. So guys, let's get into it. All right, quick thoughts. What were your impressions on the episode so far? Just around the table. What do you think, Krisily?
I was kind of bored a little bit. I was looking forward to the one-on-one with Ari, and I was kind of,
You were bored. Wait, we brought you from the couch up here, and now
I know.
Really?
There was great parts of the episode, but
Okay.
I was really looking for her and Ari tonight, and I didn't see it. I did see her and someone else, but
Okay,
I didn't see
well-
her and Ari.
What about you? What do you think, Jenna?
I love this episode. We had some girl up against wall action. We did not have any hand up the skirt action, but I'm hopeful for fantasy suites, even though I know that's kind of not going to happen. And you kind of got to see the more playful side of Sean and Ari. So
So
yeah, I thought that
coming
was-
out. Okay.
Yeah, I think Sean, I would just imagine, I just, censored in my name when he was yelling for Emily. And it was a really enjoyable show for me.
Yeah, Jenna's usually off into her own thing. Yes, into her own world. Streetcar named Desire, and yes, Jenna, or in this case, Emily.
Yeah.
Now, Cathy, what'd you think? Okay, we know you're very team Ari. Come on, let's not hide it. Let's not hide it.
I'm not team Ari. I am team Ari and Cathy. I would love to see that happen. But yeah, I mean, this episode was just a little bit slow for me. I was actually hoping for more drama with that whole situation. I mean, they had played it up for weeks. We had talked about it on the show.
Before the season even started.
I know. Ari and Cassie dating the producer. And I thought that, it was going to be a bigger deal. And it was nothing.
Like the big love triangle that we've brought up, I think, for the last like 6 weeks.
We've only been teasing it for 10 episodes, but.
And I also feel like they made such a big deal about it, and obviously the conversation was had off camera, and I feel like as a viewer, you missed out on so much. Like the first beginning of their date was so freaking awkward, and then the end of their date, all of a sudden, they're all lovey-dovey again, and it was just, that was awkward for me. Like,
Okay, I felt
missed
gypped.
that. Yeah. I felt super gypped.
I thought it was hilarious when Ari was like, all right, I gotta be honest, I got a tattoo of someone else's name. Like, I mean, that was such a cute and honest moment for Ari. Like, he was trying so hard to like surface up like this deep dark secret, but I don't think he has any, and that I think just goes to show how low level the intimacy was with Cassie. And you know, the brief, it was so brief, and they hyped it up because they have some gaps in their storyline this year.
Was it fair actually to Ari? I mean, because I don't know, do you get coached on the show, like do not talk about this, do not talk about that?
No.
Because I felt like she was testing him. Like she gave him multiple opportunities to fess up with the truth, and of course he never did. But maybe, like you said, it was not that significant to him. It was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like I've said that every time it's been brought up, is that I feel like the media made such a big deal about it when they found out that the show had to address it. They had to be able to show that footage of Cassie being interviewing Emily. And I feel like because it wasn't such a big deal to Ari and Cassie, that it shouldn't have been a big deal, and we probably wouldn't have even known about it had the press not got involved.
Right.
And I think that's what happened. I think it got completely blown out of proportion, and I don't think there was really anything between them.
Was it fair for
You're dying
Emily? Like,
I don't know. I think there was just a really awkward moment with Cassie interviewing Emily, and she's like, Emily says, Cassie, I just want to tell you that you missed out on a really good kisser. Like, that's kind of awkward. Like, I don't know.
yeah, because she was kind of bent out of shape, you know, and it was interesting how they used like a different camera. You know, it looked more personal when she was talking to Cassie.
It was like a flip cam. Probably.
Yeah, it was like a flip cam, and they even alluded to it when Emily and Ari were touching that little, like the little stone or something.
The royal dog.
Yeah, they were using the flip cam in that because we were watching, and I forgot if it was you or Jenna that was like, oh my gosh, the camera angle is just it's weirded me out.
It was like up close, away, and it was.
Yeah.
They do a lot more with the flip cam. I noticed on.
That was a flip cam?
Yeah, they do. They use the little flip cams. I noticed a couple seasons ago, I remember seeing a bunch of the Bachelors walk through an airport, and they were showing them on flip cam. And on Ben's season, when the girls were on the plane, they were showing them on flip cam, excuse me. And I think they do that so the viewer feels like they're getting an inside scoop or something a little bit more personal. It's kind of cool.
I think it was kind of neat to see an extra few segments of Chris Harrison, other than his original, spiel.
He had to work more. He had like
he
5 segments.
He was like, "What the heck this season?"
No, but he filmed it out of in L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they probably.
was after.
I feel like that wasn't shot months ago. I feel like that was shot recently. They said they have to address this. We have to say this is what's going on. We have to talk about it. The media won't stop talking about it. We're gonna cover it. So I feel like that's what happened.
It was really awkward timing for Cassie to bring it up though in the middle of their date, because it seemed like Emily and Ari were getting along great. Like she was talking about how she loves to kiss him, and then Cassie goes in and just kind of says this like halfway through their date while they're doing an ITM.
I feel like what probably happened was she didn't want to address it at the beginning because she didn't want Emily to prejudge Ari.
Yeah.
And like Emily said, had she known that at the beginning, she probably wouldn't have given the benefit of the doubt.
It wouldn't have been a secret.
So she waited until she knew she really had feelings for him, and once she knew those, because remember, she's with Cassie all the time, so she says a lot to Cassie that we probably don't know and see.
Right.
So once she realized that these feelings were true and real, that's when I think she needed to address the issue, and she did what she needed to do as a person, not as a producer.
But we said that he was on such a high pedestal for Emily, and he could only go down. And I feel like he was, that kind of hurt him a little bit. I don't know.
That was going to be my next question, actually. Do you think ultimately it may hurt his chances?
No. I think this thing was so blown out of proportion, and I can't believe we're still talking about it.
I mean, they snapped right back out of it. As
Right,
soon as
okay.
they talked about it, they snapped right back out of it, and they were back lovey-dovey, and you saw that chemistry again, that at the beginning of that day, Emily was sitting back, closed off, questioning him. You saw the eyebrows going. She had angry face. But towards the end of the date, that was completely gone. So it was very clear that she addressed it, they talked about it, she was comfortable with it, and she was ready to move on with him.
I actually wrote something, I had picked up on it that I got it from Ashley Spivey's blog.
Love her.
That whenever Emily's not
cute.
feeling something, she looks down a lot. And I noticed that in the early part of the date, and then back when they cleared the air, they were lovey-dovey, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's paying off. So the body language really tells everything.
Yeah, and Emily, you can tell she wears her heart on her sleeve. As much as she tries to look interested, you can tell which guys she doesn't feel ecstatic about and which guys she does. I mean, you can see it on her face, and I like that about her, because you don't have to second guess with her decisions.
Now, he did drop a little bombshell to put a button on the date.
There was a lot of those tonight.
Yeah, there was.
A lot of those.
He actually opened up and he told her that he loved her. That he
he said, I think I'm falling in love with you.
Oh.
No, he didn't say falling. He said in where was it?
Drum roll, please.
He said
Croatia.
In Croatia is where I really thought I was falling for you, and now I think I'm in love with you.
I missed. I think I'm in love with you. What does that mean?
I've had a guy
really?
tell me that once, and it was just really awkward. You're like, you think or because there's a big difference. But I think it's one of those things, especially in this situation, she's not allowed to say it back. So it's having that rejection, even though it's going to happen. It's
Is
just
that true?
guarding
They're
your
not allowed
feelings.
to say it?
No,
Yeah.
they're not.
So there are some rules.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not allowed. So you're saying that's why he says, I think I'm in love with you? Is that he's
Well,
using it as a play?
he probably knew he was going to be the first guy to say it. So he was just kind of testing the waters with it. I don't know. He's usually a really confident guy.
Well, Jeff
so
said
this
it through
was-
a puppet. I mean, cheesy, crazy.
We'll get to that in a minute because I think we have opposing views on that one. So we'll save it for a little bit later. There, Jenna. there was some bad blood tonight while we were watching the show. Everyone's like, I think we were trying to drum up drama ourselves.
We were, because there was not that I need drama. Emily's a really drama-free girl, but there wasn't as much excitement for me even with the guys a lot until the Jeff date.
Yeah, no. Even the Ari, we even talked at the Ari one. Okay, overall, how would you grade the Ari date?
10.
not their best.
They make
Totally
out
not
all the
their best.
time.
I like their Dolly
almost saw
Parton
some
date better.
hand under skirt action. Almost. Almost. There was that one shot.
Okay, Jenna, you're giving it a 10? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were so lovey-dovey by the end of her date. She was just like, oh my God. It was 100% flip. Like, she was back in love with him, and she was like, I'm so happy to hear you tell me that you're, I'm so happy to hear that. And kiss me more so I can learn more about you.
That's right. Good quote. So what'd you get? So you guys wouldn't give it a 10, though?
No, maybe a 7.
A 7?
It was just, I mean,
I think there was a little dry humping.
it wasn't bad.
I just feel like they've had such great chemistry before, and their conversation had more depth to it. And tonight, I think because we missed such a crucial part, I think that it just felt really disconnected. At the beginning of the date was awkward. The end of the date, they were all of a sudden in love again. And I feel like I missed something important.
Okay, how could they not capture that conversation?
I feel like it was a choice between a choice by Emily that she wanted to have the discussion, not make Ari feel uncomfortable, and be able to address it where he didn't have to feel like, oh my God, this is a production aspect, because it very clearly was not a production aspect.
Okay.
They didn't keep this from Emily. As Cassie said, like, the production staff doesn't even know about this. So it wasn't something that was held back from her on purpose, and it wasn't part of the show. It just became part of the show.
I just find it interesting that the two biggest bombshells this season weren't caught on film. And that was the discussion that,
Kaylin.
and Kaylin. The discussion between Ari, Cassie, and, what happened.
Yeah.
But the Kaylin one as well, about the baggage, about Emily not wanting to date her baggage.
These cameramen are sleeping on the job.
Yeah, but I remember Kaylin talking about Ricky as baggage, and he didn't use that exact wording, but he definitely had enough conversations that you didn't doubt that he said it. And with this, I feel like because it wasn't such a big deal, I think it comes to the press had a field day with it, and they had to address it because it became such a big deal. Because I don't think they would have. I don't think we would have ever known about this if the media didn't get attention first.
Yeah.
I think they need more cameras.
Speaking oh, go ahead.
No, go
Oh,
ahead.
there's cameras everywhere.
Less flip cams, more real cameras.
Yeah, I think they need more flip cams. So like something they could possibly get like on Amazon, perhaps.
Amazon.
Yes.
Do you know that I love Amazon?
Do you?
There's
Tell me.
shoes on Amazon. There's everything on Amazon. But before I go to Amazon, I go to AfterBuzz TV and I click on the Amazon banner, because when I do that, we get some good credit and it helps us do amazing things here at AfterBuzz. So if you guys love Amazon as much as I do, please go to AfterBuzz TV first and click on the banner and then shop.
If you loved Amazon before, or you thought you loved Amazon, you will certainly love it now.
So much better.
There we go. All right, and it keeps the lights on.
Lights. We need lights.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
we
can't-
do. I
can't
think
do
we
much
have a
in the
new
dark.
one. So see, you guys are helping us.
We're getting more lights.
We're getting more lights thanks to the fans. Thank you.
They brought the new light in because I was in the big girl chair.
Okay. Now, remember, guys, if you want to tweet about the show or the fact that, Krisily, #diva, just make sure to send it to AfterBuzz, and I'm sure Jen she'll pick up on it. She's our Twitter diva as well. So let's move on to Wolf. Or do we start calling him John now? Since he's a full character now. He's no longer Wolf. He's John.
Yeah, I'll call him John now.
Call him John? Okay.
I really felt for him during their time together. I mean, to have someone cheat on you, I know, like you're going to have a guard up after that. Like that's such a hard thing to go through. And it kind of gave us more insight into him as a person, which is nice to see.
Who hasn't been cheated on? Anybody here? Come on.
Raise your hand. Okay. The
What
truth.
about some,
I have.
What about
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
grown-up pants? We all have things that we've worked through. So it's just it's the perception afterwards. So.
I don't know. Cheating is like my one thing that is awful. Like I think it's the most selfish thing that you can do in a relationship.
I do too.
And it's hard to get back from that. Like to feel confident again after it's
No,
happened.
it's true.
Especially if that was your longest
Yeah.
relationship or your most recent relationship, your walls are still going to be up. And especially then you come into a situation like this where there's 10 other guys. You
I
know what
agree.
mean?
No, I agree. I don't want to come off as heartless. I know I'm gonna get killed for that. They're gonna be like, Jenna. But when you are in a relationship and you do get cheated on, you have to find a way to, kind of get through it. And I feel like all of his ploys to get close to Emily have been like pity and sympathy, and he's been like hooking her in with not his personality, not his humor, not his affection. It's like, oh my God, these 2 cards are my grandparents' funeral cards, and then it's like, oh, and then I was cheated on, and it's just like, come on, like give me
Man
some,
up.
give me some man, like like win me over, like say something funny.
That's a sobbing.
That's amazing.
The crying.
The sound effects
Yeah.
are
Phil's on
amazing
it.
tonight.
Win me over with
Yeah.
some laughs and be a little lighthearted. I think he tried to go in real deep and like with the pity, and it's like, come on.
But I think half the guys this season they've played that card. A lot of them have gone to Emily with their tragic stories, and I don't know if that's necessarily the right way. I mean, eventually to win a woman's heart, like what you just said. Sorry, just.
I mean, clearly
repeat
it
it.
hasn't worked.
Yeah,
None of them that have used a sympathy card or any of it has worked.
I don't think that he was trying to get a
Trying to
sympathy
think
card.
anyone.
I don't think he was trying to get a sympathy card. I think Emily asked him a question, why are you so, guarded? And that just naturally came up in conversation.
Okay.
I agree. But I feel like John lacked pizzazz, even when he spoke with her, even when he spoke with the other guys in the house. He was just very monotone.
He knew it too. He's like, I know I'm not as dynamic as these other guys, and
Right.
it's like,
He's been hysterical on Twitter today. So
Now,
maybe they're just not showing the personality.
that's such a bummer
Which
that
is
you
true.
see
Yeah.
these personalities on Twitter and in real life, that it's like, why don't we see any of that on, because people have said that Emily's like one of the most hilarious people that they know. And I'm not saying she's not hilarious, but I don't see her cracking jokes left and right.
well, Krisily, haven't you received that feedback? Just people are seeing you here as well in a.
Literally got a tweet today that somebody saw the AfterBuzz show and was pleasantly surprised because what they otherwise thought was not true, and that I was classy, which is a big word for me. I mean, I'll take it. But it's true, and I don't even remember who read the article, but I just recently read an article that said it named like 5 Bachelor and Bachelorettes that have become more fun since coming off the show. So on the show, they were really kind of boring, and in real life, they're really great, fun people. And I think Ashley Spivey might have been one of the girls on that list because she's
What?
like
She was-
I loved
she was
her
always
so
fun.
much.
Yeah.
Oh,
on The
I think so
Bachelor.
too.
She
I'm just
was
saying what I read.
so, I feel like they just made her out to be this really good girl with like,
Yeah.
just like, I'm going to be your best friend. I'm going to tell you like who the girls in the house aren't there for you, Brad, like blah, 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 blah. And now coming off of that, she has the funniest blog recap that I've seen.
does.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
Yeah, all her blogs are pretty funny. When she rips apart Cosmos are my favorite. But she is they only get to show a certain part, and they only have so much to work with, and they have a storyline. So they have to follow this storyline, and you lose a lot of your personality. You know what I mean? And if you're a tough, guarded person, you're gonna come across kind of funny. And that was something that I went through. So I can understand with John how he felt guarded, he didn't feel safe. But there comes a time you got to man up. Like you're in a house. It is a competition. Yes, it's love, but it is a competition, and you have to make yourself stand out more than anybody else. And I just don't feel like he did that.
Do you think maybe he was slightly trying it on that ferry when poor Emily was like pinned against the corner of the ferry? Remember we were talking about like
his
Zero
arm
body
around her,
language.
and she was kind of squeezing away.
Yeah, she literally could not get further away from him if possible, but he just wasn't. He just didn't have it. But they did kiss. Did they not?
It took too long. I think that's the problem. And she said it a million times that every other relationship had progressed to a point where she felt safe and comfortable, and his just took too long. And you only have so much time there.
And wouldn't it drive her crazy spending time with these these other contestants like that are not going to win when she has maybe one or the two loves of her life left? When she could be getting to know them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think she did a really good thing by not taking him home, because she was like, I wouldn't feel right I wouldn't like meeting your parents and I have no idea where we stand, you know, like.
Well, what's the difference between? Well, we could get to it a little bit later, but is it the difference? How much more time has she spent with Chris as opposed to Wolf? Yeah. They only had that one date in Charlotte.
Well, remember Chris gave her those "I'm gonna eat you" eyes, you know, when they scaled the building. You know, when she was in her harness.
Creeps me out. Chris just creeps me out.
I felt bad for John, though, when he said, you know, you're going to love my family, because I felt like he would have really opened up had he gotten the hometown date.
Well, and he said that if she had met his family, she would understand more about him.
Yeah.
And I agree with that statement. I feel like that's true for all of us a little bit. But I feel like it took too long. He didn't
seize the moment.
Yeah.
Now, and of course, they failed to lock the lock. If that's a
Awkward.
microcosm.
They did at the end, though, didn't they?
Once
We're
they put the
thinking
key back in.
J and E could stand for Jeff and Emily.
Jeff with one F.
You guys are connecting everything way too much right now. Well, now let's move on to possibly the group date.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the group. We're like,
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. With Doug, Sean, yes, manly Doug, the Hulks, and Chris.
You know, if I was on one of those 3-on-1 dates, I would be like super happy. I would be like, oh, it's whatever. It's 3 people and me. You know, like these guys are always like, man, this sucks. Like, have to hang out with Emily and these other guys. You know, it's like I would just be like making the most of it. They make it so awkward for her. You know, like in Ben's season, Ben was
Courtney said,
I'm
going to make this a one-on-one date. Like, it's not a group date.
You know, and in the other seasons, it's like, you know, there are times when you could have made things easier for people, you know, and it's like every time she's been like tortured by these group dates, you know, and it's like I would have just come at that with like, hey, whatever, you know, like I'm the star here. Like I love her and I want to be with her and I think I'm falling in love with her, you know, and just take it.
Okay. And Sean did that.
Yeah, he did.
He made it about him.
Yeah.
Which is what you have to do.
You have to take it.
So that helps Sean, you're saying. I know we're jumping a little bit ahead, but you're saying when he ran after Emily and shouted her name and whatnot.
Oh, no, that was
before the group
He
date.
made it his own by, like, when they got that alone time with the key or whatever that weird thing was. One key will open this door to the one-on-one alone
Big
time
Sean.
room. And he made it seem like it was a one-on-one date.
You know, but then what happened to Doug on like the reverse of that? Doug, another guy who didn't seize the moment.
I don't even think he didn't seize the moment. He was just so closed off. Like, he was angry, Doug. Like, every part of their conversation, his arms were crossed and he was closed from her. And even when they were trying to talk and she was like, oh God, our legs touch. Don't feel awkward. You know, something was so missing there.
Could it be the 5 love languages or something?
I don't know what his love language is.
Yeah.
Like he's probably just not speaking the love language that she speaks, or you know, I think Emily's definitely physical touch or what. I mean, that's what I've seen so far. It's like she likes it when they go in for it and they kiss and when they take their shirt off and you know,
we like that too.
But at the same time, I think that we felt so much secondhand embarrassment for Doug when he went in there. Like he picked the worst time to do it, kind of like Jamie's kiss from last season. And then you have and she was just, you know, and then at the end he was just, you know, it was too late.
But even before that, I mean, girls.
Then why did she
like? And note to JC,
We're all
if
girls.
you're ever on a date with a girl and you sit the whole time with your arms crossed,
course.
leaned back, talking to her, she's going to think you're uninterested.
Well,
Am I right?
he said I read the tabloids and they said that Doug said when he came home, he's like, I wasn't even that interested in her. I didn't really
please.
like
It was
her.
an ego thing. He did like her.
Bruised ego.
Did you see him cry when he left?
You don't cry.
You don't cry
feel
like that
like
if you don't have feelings.
Even if I didn't love Emily and I was one of the guys, I think I would cry regardless because of the rejection. You know, like even when like our brains aren't set up to deal with rejection. So it's like when we do, it's like if you were dating someone, Cathy, that you kind of liked, you know, and all of a sudden he's like, Cathy, you're just not the one for me. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to talk to you. Your brain automatically censors that rejection and was like, oh, I kind of wanted that.
I'm not good enough, yeah.
Even though you didn't even want that to begin
Yeah.
with. It's because our brain just does not function well under rejection.
You want what you can't have.
Yeah, and
Is it
that's why
abandonment or is it something like that? People,
It is
the fear
just-
of being alone?
our default brains, just everyone works like that. So it's as soon as you start to take the cookie away, boom, I'm attracted to you. You know, and it's like, I wasn't even that attracted to you. And now it's like, "Grr." So it's like, I think that might have been what he was doing. He was just like, you know, you're on TV, you're embarrassed, you know, but it's like, those 3 other dudes are leaving too. So they're hanging out for right now, but they're not going to stick around.
Okay, but you know, Krisily, you said that the writing was on the wall for Doug, and why didn't she get rid of him last week then? Remember last week when she ended up keeping both John and Doug?
Because I don't feel like I feel like with both John and Doug, there was I don't know how I feel. It hasn't gotten to that point, but I like them and I'm interested enough to keep them around and see if I can get further. And like Jenna always says, peel that onion open, you know what I mean? And get down a couple more layers. And I feel like she wanted to give them both the benefit of the doubt because she knew deep down those are both 2 good guys. It's just, are they 2 good guys for her? And she didn't want to cut somebody out that she could potentially end up with. And then this week, both of them showed her that it just wasn't enough.
I think either of those guys could have had a shot at that final rose, the 4th rose for the hometown date, but they just didn't step up their game enough.
Right.
And that's where their downfall was.
I just feel bad. Like this season seems like a lot of guys just haven't seized the moment and a lot of crying.
I've
So
never
much
seen so many men cry on The Bachelorette ever. I don't know what Emily does to them, but she's got something, man.
She's a heartbreaker.
She's got something.
We said it when we were taping, that there are more guys crying on this show than there are girls crying over The Bachelor.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well,
cries.
let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about a happy date. Let's talk about Jeff and Chris's plead for love. All this and more after the break.
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man, no. I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AfterBuzz TV. And why? Because AfterBuzz TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows, like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AfterBuzz TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AfterBuzz TV goodness. Check them out, give them a holler, and tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
3 p.m. to 3 a.m.
That's how long it takes us to film our episodes. We're here from 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. just to bring you that Bachelor knowledge. Okay, guys, we're back.
Happens.
It happens. Let's talk about happy time. Let's talk about the Jeff date.
Plate.
Phil, if you could give me the dream music. Or maybe not. Okay. Yes, I'm Jeff. I
wake
look
up
like
to
a
that.
Kennedy. I look like royalty. And Emily, I think I love you.
Us Kennedys were great.
There's lots of thinking
he
going
didn't
on.
say I think.
He didn't
He
say
didn't say I think. He
I
said
think he did.
I'm 100% or 1,000%.
100,000,000.
A million. Wow.
But he did it with puppets.
I'm infinity and percent.
Oh, sorry. We were in Europe.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
wanted to get yeah.
We were in Europe. They were marionettes.
Yeah.
Sorry. There we go. Okay. Thoughts on Jeff? Let's spend some time on this. You've been waiting. You've spent 87 weeks on that couch talking about Jeff. Well, here's your chance Tell me about your thoughts about the Jeff and Emily date.
I mean, they're perfect. Like, the comfort between them is like two people that have been together forever. There was never an awkwardness. They're like two little kids in a candy store, the shopping, the marionettes,
I thought you liked the awkwardness.
But I feel like that's how dating progresses. You know what I mean? Like, you start off, it's awkward, it's weird, you're nervous, you get comfortable. And I mean, he's still a little bit awkward. He told her he loved her through a puppet. But I also find that really endearing.
Okay.
I think that's Jeff's style, and I think she appreciated it. And it shows that he's going to be a good dad.
Jenna, you've got the look of terror.
Look at that face.
If you guys are not
face.
watching this, Jenna's just giving a very sexy modelly look, but a very scary sexy modelly look.
That was not a sexy modelly look. That was a Krisily, you're crazy look.
I just think if you really want to bond and if you really want to develop intimacy, you've got to learn how to maintain eye contact. Okay?
I was thinking that at the same time.
You have to. Like, so when you, like, I know they're not having sex yet, but when you do have sex, you have to keep that eye contact to bond you. The more you can keep it in conversation with other people that dart their eyes around, you know? If I'm looking at JC right now, if I just keep eye contact with him for longer than 15 seconds, he might blush because...
Yeah. All right.
But because staring at each other can get uncomfortable, so it's like you take a quick glance away, you know, and you're just like this. But if we just stayed locked in the whole time when we were having conversation, we would bond so much more, and we would think that the conversation was way more prolific than it was.
Okay.
What are you doing?
No, because she was looking at me the whole time.
I'm
So
keeping eye
just like,
contact.
Stuck.
I'm fierce.
yeah, she's locked in.
But I feel like they were having a playful moment. They were playing with the marionettes. They were both doing it. She was doing it as well. And then once they were laying on the floor, and they were doing that. And
I gotta say, if a guy tells me he loves me, he better be looking me in the eye.
That's for you, but I think Emily, I agree with Krisily on this one. I think that they're so cute and they're so
No. I like their conversation. I think they're so cute, and they're, you know, the way that they talk to each other is amazing. But he should have looked up, put the marionette down, looked up, and said,
She was staring
"I'm
right at
in
him.
love with you."
He
Like,
will
that was
tell-
just really awkward.
He will
for
tell
me.
her that 4 weeks from now. Anyway.
I agree.
Yeah, because right now is not the time. Trust
you
me.
know why? He doesn't mean it. If I was in
No,
love
he
with
means
you,
it.
no
He's
way.
just shy.
No, it has not been enough. They haven't spent enough time together. If I was in love with JC, I'd be like, JC, I'm in love with you.
You just said it. Hey, Phil, what's with the love? Come on, man.
was anti-love.
We're having our own
Look at-
Bachelor here on our AfterBuzz Studios.
Yeah.
I would be looking you straight in the eye because
Mm-hmm.
I love you. I stand behind that. And that just shows me that there is like there's strong feelings, but not love.
He said so many other things to her on that date, though, that really got me. Like, he said,
Yeah.
when she said, "I want to have kids," yesterday, he said, "I want to have kids too." And then we all love the quote, "I want to date you so hard and marry the fuck
Bleep,
out of you."
I mean, they are like, they're just the cutest. And I just can't keep, it's the two of them together. There's, the awkwardness is dying down a little bit. I mean, saying I love you to someone for the first time when there's 3 camera people, 2 sound people, a bunch of producers, PAs, people running around is freaking awkward. And he did it in a way that wouldn't make her feel uncomfortable because she couldn't say it back. And I feel like he lightened it up for her, and I also feel like she really appreciated it. And then the rest of the conversation about getting married and having kids, that's the first person she's talked to about
Right.
that. That's
Buying a dog.
And he brought it up. He wanted to buy a dog with her.
That's so cute.
That was cute. But I feel like love is so intense that you don't need to lighten anything up because it's intense.
I want you to go on
Or
a
is that
reality
lust?
show.
Is that lust or love, Jenna?
I feel like right now I don't think that it's lust. I don't think that it's love though either. I think that it is.
Infatuation.
There you go. Thank you, Phil. Amen.
Phil has a thesaurus in the
Thank
back, so it
you.
just totally trumps us.
I think right now that they're just caught up in the moment. They're caught up in the beautiful library and all the castles.
Okay.
Right? Remember?
Well, no, it's so easy to get caught up in all of that, yes. But I do feel like the 2 men on the show that are taking it the most realistic and not making it about where they are is Jeff and Ari. And I feel like the difference between Jeff and Ari is with Ari, it's more lustful, it's more romantic, it's more, he sweeps me away. And I think with Jeff, it's just more real and more natural and progressing the way that I would want to see a relationship progress in this situation.
Now, with that said, we've been throwing verbal bouquets at Jeff and whatnot, but let's touch upon possibly, is he being I don't know if he's no longer, is he still practicing being, his Mormonism?
I don't believe so, no.
But what happens is they eventually come back to the faith. And with that said, if they were to marry, Emily would more than likely have to become Mormon herself.
Well, no, he's not practicing anymore.
But his parents are on a mission right now, correct?
Yeah.
You know,
But they're obviously okay with him living his life the way that he wants to. And I don't think that his parents aren't there because they're choosing not to. I think they're on a mission.
Right.
And obviously his family's views on who he dates are very important to him. And I feel like it's 2025, okay? Like, you know what I mean? It's just people that have different religions get married all the time, and children
True.
are raised
There's no
between,
conversion
there
rule.
isn't, and children get raised with different religions, and they're able to learn and choose from themselves, and I think that's an amazing thing. And I don't feel like religion is going to be a really big issue between them. I mean, I
It
feel
hasn't
like
been brought up at all.
no,
Is that a problem for her? Like, would she want him to convert?
I don't think so. I think Emily's a really open-minded person, and I don't feel like I feel like we're making a bigger deal out of their religion than they would.
Well, it just hasn't been mentioned.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that it's not a big deal at all.
I don't think the
because-
producers want to get into religion. On,
No.
Right. They're not gonna
And I
touch
mean, it may be touched on the family visit because you may see some differences in their families. And he did touch on the fact that he doesn't bring girls home to that environment. And I feel like that's very true to him. And this is a really big deal. And it's important that they like her. And I feel like if he didn't think that they would, then he would step back.
Yeah, because her family did reject someone in Jeff's past, correct?
Yes.
So
And he said bye-bye.
yeah, so I still think it possibly could be a problem. That's just my honest opinion from dating a Mormon myself, and it's a cross to bear eventually.
I know, but I love dating Mormons. Like I love dating Mormons. It is fun.
Who
Like,
don't you love dating?
I'm an equal opportunity lover. I swear to God. I think that I love being around their church. I mean, they teach so much on how to be a good person. Like, I've been to their 3-hour churches. You know, like they do so many fun things. They have the best recipes. Like, they teach you how to be a wife and how to be a husband and what you should be doing. They teach you about budgeting, things. It's like life lessons you do not get in real life. I wasn't raised with.
It's unfortunate because I know they probably will not touch it on the hometown.
But one of the things, I mean, in Ben's season, when KCB brought him home, they touched a lot on religion. So maybe they will show something.
I think it depends on what the family's most comfortable with.
Right.
Like, they prepped my family before I saw my family on what, you know what I mean, like what was going to happen and what they were going to do. And they had an awareness of what was going to happen. And there were certain things that I did not want touched, and neither did my family. And the producers respect that. So I feel like if it's something that's that important to you and you don't want it to be touched on, you will. And if it is, you won't.
So once again, it was a perfect date. Honestly, it was
cute.
it was
I love
beautiful.
books.
I'll be
love
blown
books.
away if she doesn't end up with him. I really, really will.
I will not be blown away. I'll be sitting here on this chair, excited that Ari won.
Let the war
Someone
begin.
on that side will not be so happy if Ari wins.
No,
And it's not JC.
I would say I'd be happy seeing her with Jeff, Ari, or Sean. And I will take whatever leftovers.
I'm breaking up with Sean. Sean, I'm breaking up with you because all I do is see you follow, tweet, and respond to Krisily, and it hurts my feelings. And I sit right next to her, and I see everything go down, and done.
It's the boxers.
Good.
That's it. Get a boxer.
Good Lord, you guys are as bad as the rose ceremony that when we have Chris who fell apart.
I know. Do you think during the rose ceremony that she was actually going to pick John Wolf?
That's what I'm dying.
She didn't say
I wish I
anything.
knew.
I honestly don't think she was going to pick Wolf anyways.
Yeah, I think she was
Based
going
on
to
what
pick,
she
pick
said.
Chris.
Yeah. And he just went out there. I think it's funny that he thought he treated her so bad. Do you think he treated her so bad?
Well, he was a little pissy when he lost a 2-on-1 when she gave the rose to Sean.
Yeah, he's tantrumy.
Yeah.
I would have addressed it immediately. Like, if I saw him acting that way, I would have addressed it immediately.
And this reminds me of last season with Ben and KCB, where Casey was a huge front runner the whole season.
I know.
And it wasn't until you got to the final 4 where, I hate to say it was just
But their religion kind of broke things apart.
no. For me, it
The
was
hometown dates.
the maturity.
No,
It was
I don't think
KCB's lack of maturity. Yes, because she became ultra jealous of the other girls.
Yeah.
When she had nothing to be really jealous about. And Chris felt the same way. And I think it was just the seasoning that was missing. You know? Just what are you guys doodling?
Nothing.
What did you draw?
Nothing. I didn't watch the end of Ben's season, so I missed that.
Courtney
part.
won.
No,
Okay.
I know. I stopped watching when they went skinny
Newsflash.
dipping. I was like, not so much for me.
And speaking of which, I know Courtney's got like she was offered a movie role now. And
I know, I saw that
Yeah,
today,
so-
actually.
But she did that. She was an actress before Bachelor. I mean,
I thought she was a
She
model.
was.
She was a model, but she had done commercials
Yeah,
and
so,
things
I mean,
like that.
I thought you were going to say she was an actress during the Bachelor
Well, that
season.
too. I mean, that too. She had a part to play, and she loved it. And she was the winner, so it worked for her.
So no shocks on the final four.
Okay, first of all,
Okay.
if I was John, when Chris came back, I would have been like, do I get my time too? I would have been furious.
I would have
like,
fought for some time, yeah.
Yeah, there was 2 of them left, and if one gets a chance to diatribe it out, then you know what I mean? The other one should too. I would have been furious if I was John. And I have to give it to him, like he was a better man than I would have been, because he didn't even say anything to her. I would have said something.
Once again, you're just reinforcing the theme.
Yeah.
Failure to seize the day.
I don't think that she would have changed her mind though, because she's been so gung ho the entire season about what she wants,
Yes.
and the fact that she didn't do a rose ceremony or
Cocktail
cocktail
party.
party today. I mean, she already had her mind made up going into that, and I don't think that a 3-minute conversation was going to sway that.
I agree. I just think that he probably would have felt better, and I would have felt better. I mean, he got a chance and you don't. That sucks.
It does. I mean, he just didn't step up. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
And here's the thing. Do you think he was really into her, like Doug? Like Doug said, he really wasn't into Emily, because Wolf said something at the end, and he said, "I can't force it if it's not there."
Right.
I think he was saying that on her end.
Right. He couldn't make her love him.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You know
because
what
I
I
think
mean?
Ryan was trying to force it. You know what I mean? He's putting some pressure on there.
Good thing you're listening to us on iTunes, guys. No, but seriously, I think he really wasn't as into her. I honestly, if he would have slightly broken down. But he is guarded. I forget.
Groveling, though,
Yeah.
is so unattractive.
Yeah.
And I think most people are so above that.
No, but when it's love or lust, people do crazy things. We've seen it throughout this whole season and
Yeah,
other
right.
seasons. So
Yeah.
I think he was not that into her, and possibly maybe he's on Bachelor Pad.
I don't think he wasn't into her. I think that he just
I think John
doesn't-
liked
yeah,
her.
I
He
think
was
he
just
liked
guarded.
her too. He just didn't he didn't understand the step up part, the game part. Like in normal real life, you don't have to do the stuff you have to do on this show. And
Yeah.
people get sent home all the time because they didn't step up.
Yeah.
Man up.
Well, they've been together 7 weeks.
Yeah,
well,
but
on the show.
not in real
Not in
life.
real life. They've been together maybe a month
Yeah.
at that point.
It's not in real life. It's not real lifetime.
Quit
on.
giving me those dirty looks, Krisily. All right, let's move on to predictions, if we have any.
And now, your
Oh.
AfterBuzz TV.
Did we have any news this week?
Yeah,
Cupcake?
we have a little bit of news, but do you want to do predictions first?
AfterBuzz.
No, we're doing news.
Okay. Well, change of pace there. News this week. They had the weekly phone call with the press, and we had Ari on that before, we had Sean on that before, and this week it was Jeff who was on the conference call, and he talked about a lot of things. He talked about his bromance with Ari and how it's really easy for them to talk about Emily when they were on the show and filming, because they just thought that they pretended like they were different girls, and they didn't really get jealous of each other's dates. They just talked about, how they were falling in love with one girl and whatever.
That's mature.
But
That's manly of them.
Yeah, he did say that Ari didn't even mention to Jeff or any of the guys there that he had dated Cassie. So Jeff said that he was just really surprised. Ari would come home and say, well, I think that Emily thinks I'm hiding something from her, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So cute. He's
So-
like, I told her about my tattoo. I don't know.
Yeah, and Jeff talked about a lot of other things. It went on pretty long.
Did you talk about what type of hair product he uses? Because he's got that big wispy thing.
No,
Just
but I was looking at his Instagram, and he had long hair before he
Saw
went on the
that.
show, and he cut it off 3 weeks before the show because he thought that Emily liked clean cut guys, which we are learning now that that's not the
so
case.
much.
But he kind of had a Michael Nance thing going on.
Nice.
Yeah. So, other news, Ryan was on a local Georgia news station giving an interview about the show, and he was kind of weird. Like, he evaded a lot of the questions.
Yeah.
They asked if they thought, or if he thought that he got a bad edit, and he didn't really answer it, but he said that all of his friends think that he's a great guy, and obviously, and yeah, he was just kind of didn't.
I heard also in that interview that he didn't endorse him per se, but he actually said that he thought Sean would be a great guy for Emily.
Yeah. You know, what I've learned from the show is that you can get a bad edit. And I definitely was not a Ryan fan the entire season. But you can tell that he's now seeing this and realizing that he came across as a tool.
Yeah.
And the one who said it best was Marissa May. I don't know if you remember her. She has met him, and they have mutual friends. And she wrote a long hell of a blog. And the whole blog was standing up for Ryan and saying that he's such a faith-driven man that a lot of the things that he was saying that came across horribly were because of the faith that he has, like being in the right place at the right time, or using what you can do, or I'm called to a bigger power, like all these things. So, and her article made a lot of sense. Like her blog really made a lot of sense. And I think that, you know, it's similar to Dave Good. Dave Good came off and looked horrible. And Dave Good's a great guy, you know? So I think that he really is afraid to say anything at this point because he doesn't know what's going to happen next. And he's having a hard time with it.
Yeah, I think that after hearing his interview, I think the whole trophy wife thing got kind of misconstrued.
Yes.
And the way that he was saying that after the fact is, you know, I want someone who is, you know, a prize, someone, but like in a good way. He was saying, you know, I want someone that I can show off, but like I'm proud to be with them and, you know, be like, oh, this is my this is my wife, and be proud to have that. Not like I want someone who just stays at home and is pretty.
And there's a difference because I once said to my other half that I want to be called a trophy wife. Like, I want somebody to look at me and be like, this is my wife. Like, she's beautiful. Absolutely. She does this. She does that. And she was like, what do you mean? Like, why would I ever call you a trophy wife? Like, that's horrible. A trophy wife's like that girl. And I was like, but you're just looking at it very differently.
Yeah.
And while I was upset at the way that he said it, because I feel like he said it a little aggressively, I do understand how it can be taken the wrong way. Because, hell, I want somebody to be proud of me and show me off.
And you'd mentioned also that they ask you questions over and over again just to make sure they get so it's cohesive with their storyline.
And if you say it, they'll use it. And you could have said it 3 weeks ago, and they used it here. I specifically remember on Bachelor Pad, there was a spot where two people were talking, and I was sitting on they made it look like I was sitting on the couch looking over and watching this conversation. I was sitting on that couch 3 days before they had the conversation. They just cut and paste. And I get why they do it. You know what I mean? It helps with the story. It helps the viewers see what's happening next, but it doesn't always happen in that order.
Well,
and
we cut the
Speaking of some editing, I was going to say, Sean, there was one part where all the guys were in the hotel, and Sean was in his little, you know, black V-neck at first, or he was in his plaid shirt, and then all of a sudden, you know, you look at Chris, you look at someone else, you look at the date card, and then Sean's in a red hoodie, and then you look back, and Sean's back in his plaid shirt.
I think Sean might be Superman.
He might.
He changes real fast.
He might. But he's a Superman that makes people cry.
Yeah.
So in essence, basically, Ryan is misunderstood, possibly.
Yes.
So maybe he can.
I think they all are. I think that they were harsh on Kaylin. I don't think that the baggage thing got, I think that got taken out of control. Like,
I don't think so.
You brought up a great thing, Jenna. I read an article in the Giving Steve about Kaylin. The guy who wrote this horrible article about Kaylin that we talked about a few weeks ago, well, he went to a screening party with Kaylin. This, I think, it was for last week's episode.
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Or was it 2 weeks ago?
When Kaylin was still on the show.
And Kaylin wasn't as bad as we think. He's still bad.
Of course not. I mean, come on. Like, there's some people in the Bachelor family that do the same thing. They're not great people, but when you meet them out, they're fun and they're sweet, and you'd say, oh my God, I love them. I want them to be your friend. But when you spend more than an hour with somebody, I mean, anybody can put on a good face for a couple hours. It doesn't mean you're a good person. And I don't think that Kaylin just did the one thing. I think it went on. And I also feel like you can't just, anybody can put on a good face.
Okay, so then just to wrap it up, if they want to make it up, go on Bachelor Pad.
Yeah.
And then we can see your real colors.
Well, Kaylin is on Bachelor Pad.
And you're going to see. He's going to be the same way. I bet him and Erica Rose will be the first team up.
I read that that's his plan. His plan is to get you to hate him. Giving Steve even talked about that.
What?
So yeah,
Well, he wants to be remembered.
He wants to be a character.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's remembered that way.
Okay.
Any other news and notes for us this week?
Yes, the last little bit of news, not really news, but I like to think it's news. Ari's Instagram. No, he's having Team Ari shirts, like Team Jeff shirts, and he's donating money to some organization. But these shirts,
Alcoholics.
No,
Yes,
in the
it's very
picture
funny
of the
for
shirts,
alcoholics.
there's a girl who. It's cut right below the neck, right above the neck, so you can't see any of the face. But the girl has an identical body and hairstyle to Emily.
I know,
and
but
people were
her arms look old. It looks like an older lady.
And also,
I know it's not her, but
just so you know, you can put anything on. If any girl, if they have a picture of Emily in a white T-shirt, they can just paste the logo on the white T-shirt.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that she actually wore
but
it.
a lot of people on Instagram were kind of wondering, and you know that production wouldn't let them do that, even
No.
if they were together.
I have to say, I love that these guys are doing that this year. I love that they're saying they're having fun. They realize they have fans, and they're doing something good with it. Like, you really don't see that, you know? I mean, more recently, Michelle Money has done it, Graham Bunn has done it, and it's great. It's really great to see two people that are kind of capitalizing on this for something good and raising money for One Alcoholics and Jeff's doing the water. I mean, both of those are great things. So I think it's really cool that they're doing that. It's nice to see that change because you don't really see that too often.
So it's very Bachelor gives backy type of deal.
We like that stuff. And I just have to say a quick shout out to Bachelor Nation. My Facebook has blown up from you guys supporting Nana. And her claim to fame is she's Nana from The Bachelor. So thank you so much for supporting her and her journey. And we love you, and she thanks you.
And you have all of our support as well, Krisily, for sure.
Jinx.
Well, now let's move on, I guess, to predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ooh, I've never heard that one, Phil.
It's a new one.
Wow, thanks. I like it. All right. What do we see next week? It's hometown dates. And Emily is the one breaking down. She's the one crying this week. What are we to expect?
Goodbye, Chris.
Chris? You're saying Chris is gone?
I would say so too.
Chris?
I would say Chris. I'm really excited to see Chicago, though. Hometown.
I think it's kind of scary. Like, you meet these guys and it's all fun and games, and then all of a sudden you have to meet their families and it becomes very real. And not only are you now letting down them, but now you're letting down these people's families that have brought you in, welcomed you into their home. And I mean, I know by the time Charlie left, like, my parents had a picture on the mantle of him. My grandmother was dancing with him. He gave my Nana a rose. Like, he was part of the family when he left. And you're not just breaking up with that person. It's such an extravagant thing, the hometowns, that it's a little different. So it's got to be hard on her.
So it's going to be emotionally charged next
Yeah,
week, basically.
absolutely.
So
It's interesting to see. I always think hometowns are so interesting because the parents are some of the few people on reality TV who did not sign up to be on a reality TV show. So they are so real. Like, they're the ones that aren't faking anything for the cameras. They're saying exactly what they think. And sometimes it turns out great, sometimes not so much.
Yeah.
whose family house are you most excited to see?
Jeff's.
Sean's.
I love them.
I'll say it for her. You're going for Ari.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I think we're getting the hook, guys. All right, now if you're sticking around watching us on AfterBuzzTV.com, stick around for Glass House. Ooh, more treachery awaits. But now, Krisily, where can they find you?
You can find me at Krisily.
Oh, short.
Very short and sweet.
I'm at Jenna Time Tweets.
You can find me on Twitter at Cathy Kelley.
And you can find me at The Everyday Man, and you can find all of us at AfterBuzz TV. For Phil, Krisily, Jenna, Cathy, I'm JC. We'll see you next time.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.